All right, guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about insurance surveyors. We're going to be covering the insurance industry because I've already covered commercial inspections, residential mortgage inspections, and mystery shopping. So we're going to jump into insurance inspections. And the normal name that a lot of people call them are insurance surveyors, loss control consultants, field inspector. Those are some common names for people who do insurance surveys. So it's all a part of the field service industry, the field inspection industry. The field inspectors industry is not widely known about. I've told you about that in my very first training. Again, as a field inspector, you do not require any type of special license. A lot of people do searches for field inspectors or field inspection companies, but they usually come up with home inspection um, for home inspector. And generally, home inspectors require a license. Now, with these jobs, most people don't know because it's not widely known about. Jobs are rarely advertised. You just have to know where to look for them, because jobs are out there. They're rarely advertised. You just need to find the right places to look for them. And these are some of the things that we're going to talk about in this training. All right. But first of all, let's get into it. Who, what, where, when, and how. Okay. So these are things that we're going to cover in this training today. What are field inspections? What are the requirements to becoming a field inspector? Who hires field inspectors? What are the different types of field inspections? What takes place during an inspection? How much do you get paid? How do you get paid? When do you get paid? What tools are needed to get started? And where do I find these inspection jobs? You see, field inspectors so what are field inspections? We're going to go over that real quick. I have a very detailed video in my first training explaining to you what field inspections are, but we're going to briefly give you an overview of what field inspections are, okay? So field inspectors have to personally visit either a residential home or commercial businesses to verify information and take photographs. It's plain and simple. When the field work is completed, they go online and pull up the inspection request and fill out the report. All right, a person from the quality assessment team looks over the report that you have submitted, and if it's all good, the report is submitted to the underwriter. That is the person who requested the field survey in the first place, okay? And if there's any questions or concerns, the quality assessment team, a department, they will send it back to you asking for clarification. If all is good, the QA will submit your final report to the customer, the underwriter. And that's as simple as it gets for field inspections. Now, what are the requirements to be a field inspector? Well, you must be self-disciplined. You got to be a self-starter. You need to be organized. You must be able to communicate professionally, both verbally and written. Communication is key, guys. All right, you must be coachable. You see, a lot of these companies, are willing to train you because they need eyes and ears out in the field, okay? So you have to be coachable. You have to learn how to, or know how to be able to read and follow directions and instructions, and you must be willing to learn, okay? So those are the simple requirements to becoming a field inspector. Some other basic requirements, sometimes because depending on where you live, you may have to travel outside your area, but the just of things, just the uh, overall average, you have to be willing to travel in a 35 to 40-mile radius. That's what they request. You must be able to meet deadlines of when your inspection orders are due, and you must be able to pass a background check. These are just the simple requirements. So who hires field inspectors? Well, typically underwriters of insurance companies. They are the ones who order these inspections. So these insurance companies, they don't necessarily have the means or the time to hire field inspectors in every state or city or town or anything. So there are many companies, third-party companies, that specialize in this area, and that's where field inspectors get the bulk of their work, and where our industry comes in. Okay, companies hire field inspectors like myself, and field inspectors sign a contract, agreeing to do the work in exchange for an agreed amount of money. So basically, I signed a independent contractor agreement with the company, and we discussed what the payment amount was for each job, or for the jobs that I do, whatever the case may be. And then once I've signed that, I've agreed to complete their inspections for a certain amount of money. All right. So it's just an agreement. So these companies will have a web-based platform that inspectors are provided a user ID and a password where they can log in and get their work, upload their photos, and submit their reports. So everything is pretty much given to you once you apply and you get hired on with these companies. All right, so what are the different types of inspections? Now, remember, we're talking insurance inspections now, okay? So there are many different types of inspections that a field inspector can perform, but here are some of the most common types, all right? Residential exterior is just basically going out to a residential property and taking exterior photos. Residential exterior and interior, where you go out to a residential property and you take interior and exterior photos of the property, depending on what your work order is asking you for. All right. You have commercial properties. It's the same as residential. You go to a commercial property and you photograph that property. You have commercial liability, commercial lesser's risk, okay, commercial wind only. And the ones I can get deeper into this a little bit later, but these are just the most common types of inspections. All right, and the ones with the asterisk next to it, sometimes it requires you to sketch the building. Okay, sometimes that sketch is required, so you have to, and they provide you with, generally if you log into your account, they provide you access to sketching software so that you can sketch your building right into the um, application or the website of your work order. So what takes place during a field inspection? Well, it depends on the type of inspection that's ordered, because some inspections require you to call the insured to set up an appointment, which is, can be any interior inspections and any commercial inspections. They require you to call the insured to set up an appointment. So let's get into residential exterior only. All right. So typically residential exterior only do not require an appointment. Okay. So in that case, you would, once you receive your work order, as long as you complete it by the due date, it can be done on any day before the due date. All right. So you can just, once you get your order, you can just, any day, you can go out to the residential property and take your exterior photos. Okay. Some insurance companies do require a pre-notification call. Okay. So alerting the insured that someone will be out there within the next few days to photograph the exterior, and they do not have to be present since it's only an exterior observation. All right, the field inspector shows up to the property, and first they must always knock on the door to announce their presence. This is what I always do. All right, and then they take photos of all sides of the home, all sides of the roof, an address verification photo, any hazardous conditions present at the time, and a photo of any outbuildings. And outbuildings are any detached garages, sheds, anything of that matter that's detached, a structure that's detached from the actual property. So appointment-based inspections All commercial inspections require an appointment to be made with the insured, okay? Residential interior inspections require an appointment as well. And then we have 4-point inspections, which require an appointment. 4-point inspections are generally a residential interior, exterior. It could be a multifamily home. Um, a lot of these things can be detailed further, but I'm just giving you a basic overview of insurance inspections. So appointment-based inspections, a call is placed to the insured and you set an appointment is set. So once you get in contact with the insured and you're able to set an appointment, you lock in that appointment date and time. All right. So the next thing, the inspector shows up to the appointment and takes all the required photos, both interior and exterior. And you can find all your requirements listed on your forms. Okay. So the next thing you want to do, you'll interview the insured and ask questions that you find printed on your form. Your photos will verify the questions you are asking. This is the reason why your photos are very, very important. They must be clear. They must not be blurry. They must not be dark. You have to take some proper photos. And after the inspection is completed and the inspector returns home, um, you will open the inspection on the website, on the company's website, upload your photos, label those photos, and fill out the form and submit your report. And how long does it take to do an inspection? So generally, residential exterior inspections, they take 3 to 5 minutes. Residential exterior with measurements, like when you have to sketch the building, that takes 5 to 10 minutes. And if it's a residential interior, which is an appointment-based inspection, it takes 8 to 15 minutes. If it's a commercial inspection, which is appointment-based, it takes 10 to 30 minutes. So that is your general guideline. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It just depends on how big the property is, how talkative the insured is, and things like that. It depends, but that is your um, basic time that it takes you to complete different types of inspections. So how do you get paid and how much do you get paid? I know this is a question that all of most people want to know first, okay? And I'm gonna give it to you, okay? So here you go. Residential inspections pay anywhere from $8 up to $25 for an exterior. All right, so keep this in mind, all right? Appointment-based residential inspections, they pay in the range of $18 to $80. And if it's a commercial inspection, they pay anywhere from $25 up to $80, but the average is about $45 per inspection. So let's do some math. Let's say you have 20 residential exterior inspections and they pay you $8 each. That's $160. So that's less than 2 hours worth of field work. Okay. Let's do the math. That's less than 2 hours. Who makes more than, I mean, it's not many people out here nowadays that's going to make $160 in less than 2 hours. Okay, that's just the sad reality of the world we live in. All right, so let's look at commercial inspections. If we do 6 commercial inspections that pay $45 each, and that's the average, okay, because some pay more, some pay less. But if you do 6 commercial inspections at $45 each, that's $270, okay? And that's about 4 to 5 hours of field work. For me, it's usually less. But depending on how far a property is, it's a lot of things that's involved. So you have to make sure that the money that's being paid out to you is worth it, worth your time and effort going out to complete these inspections. So how do these companies pay you? Generally, they pay you by direct deposit. And most companies, the payday is typically twice a month. Okay. And this is not a employee relationship. This is a 1099 contract gig. So basically, you are an independent agent working for yourself, completing work for a company in exchange for an agreed amount money that you agreed in the first place. Okay, so this is a 1099 contract gig. This is not an employee, a W-2 employee. You are not an employee. You are an independent contractor. So now that we got all of that clear, what tools and equipment are needed to get started? Well, first off, I always recommend a digital camera, at least 10x zoom. They recommend at least 10x zoom, but I recommend a digital camera with a really good zoom. You can get a measuring wheel, a camera pole, computer laptop, high-speed internet, reliable transportation, proof of car insurance, a clipboard, and a printer. The only thing that I personally don't have is a 24-foot camera pole. You can, most of the jobs that I do, I can get everything from the ground, but when I can't, then I use like a super long selfie stick, or I position myself in another place. Sometimes I even use a drone, but but most times I position myself in a place where I can actually get a picture of the roof from the ground without actually having to get on the roof. So where do you find these job listings? Sometimes you can find them on Craigslist. I'll be very, very careful about Craigslist. Um, you can also find them on Sophie.us, which is a very good resource for field inspectors. Indeed lists some jobs, and Google will list some jobs. All right, you just know the correct search terms to look for, and you can also find these jobs uh, or companies on my website. If you just go to https colon / jcreatingwealth.com. And I'm gonna see if I can put this on the screen real quick. About this, we go https jcreatingwealth.com. If you go to my website here, http jcreatingwealth.com, you will be able to enter your name and email. And on the very first email that I send out to you after your registration into my email list, I will send you an email with access to a list of companies that you can check out and apply to today so that you can get started in this industry. All right. So be sure to go to that website, and I have additional training. Once you've gotten into the page of the company page, I have additional training there for you to learn even more about field inspections and the different type of inspections. So, well, I don't want you to ever limit yourself. So I really encourage inspectors to sign on with multiple companies so that you can maximize your time while out in the field and your profits, okay? I always tell people sign up with multiple companies. No, it's not mandatory. It is not mandatory. And one thing that I would really suggest, if you're completely brand new in this industry and you're just getting a foothold, you should really wait, until you develop a solid background in the industry with at least one company before you start signing on with other companies, so that you can get your background solid. You can learn this industry, you can learn how to do some of these inspections, and then you can start picking up additional companies and earn more money. Because, guys, there are inspectors who contract with several different companies at a time, myself included. Currently, I am active with three uh, three companies, and that is down from like 8 I was with. Okay, so but I have been able to utilize my skills to, increase my income by working with only a few companies because they pay more money. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this training. That is your insurance inspection training for the day. This is insurance surveyors and loss control consultants, and this is just a basic overview of insurance inspections. All right, guys, I thank you guys for sticking with me. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video.